Quazi here. Over 2,000 years ago, in the 2nd century BCE, a powerful avatar descended upon us and delivered a teaching so profound that nobody has quite cracked it, even today. His name was Patanjali, the author of the Yoga Sutras, responsible for all the yoga we see in this modern day. Now, when I say yoga, I'm not talking about your average hot yoga, no. This was a yoga whose ultimate goal is to bring you to experiencing the ultimate, becoming enlightened. However, what Patanjali taught was that we must transcend our worldly desires first before we can fully commit to the pursuit of enlightenment. There was one main principle he constantly propounded on in the Yoga Sutras, and this principle is the concept of Vairagya and Abhyasa. Now, Patanjali defines Abhyasa in the following way. He says, Abhyasa is the effort toward gaining stability in that state of cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. In Sutra 114, he further elaborates, but this practice is firmly grounded only after it has been cultivated properly and for a long time uninterruptedly. Now, in terms of Vairagya, in the Yoga Sutras 115, Patanjali defines it in this way. He says, Vairagya is the certainty of mastery of the yogin who is without thirst for visible and revealed or invisible things. Put simply, Vairagya refers to the act of surrender, whilst Abhyasa refers to intense effort, its opposite. Now, in order to succeed in any area of life, Patanjali says that we must balance Vairagya and Abhyasa, ceaseless surrender combined with intense effort. Many, including myself, have mastered the art of effort. We're very good at taking massive action, even if we deem it unnecessary at times and burn ourselves down to the ground trying to achieve a certain outcome. It is this surrender aspect that has caused massive confusion, the Vairagya. I believe I've finally figured it out. And by the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a meditation that within the next 30 days will allow you to connect to the most divine source of life within you. And you're going to see that outcomes will manifest for you naturally, instead of forcefully. With that, let's get started. I'd like to begin this video with a quote from this book that I read, which allowed me to have this epiphany. It's a book called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. And there's 3 main quotes in here that is going to make sense of what I'm about to share with you, and especially the meditation. So the first quote goes, words may help you understand something. Experience allows you to know. Yet there are some things that you cannot experience. So I've given you other tools of knowing, and these are called feelings. To give you a little bit of context, Conversations with God is about this person, Neale Donald Walsch, who goes through sort of a dark night of the soul. And upon going through that, he one day just says, God, speak to me. And then he just picks up a pen and paper and starts writing, and this is what comes out. God is actually speaking to him. So the first quote goes, words may help you understand something. Experience allows you to know, yet there are some things you cannot experience, so I've given you other tools of knowing, and these are called feelings. What the soul is after, the highest feeling of love that you can imagine, this is the soul's desire. This is its purpose. The soul is after the feeling. It already has the knowledge, but the knowledge is conceptual. Feeling is experiential. The soul wants to feel itself, and thus to know itself in its own experience. Another emphasis on the importance of feeling. Now, this final one is going to change everything. All human actions are motivated at their deepest level by 2 emotions, fear or love. In truth, there are only 2 emotions, only 2 words in the language of the soul. Fear wraps our bodies in clothing, love allows us to stand naked. Fear clings to and clutches all that we have. Love gives all that we have away. Fear holds close, love holds dear. Fear grasps, love lets go. Fear rankles, love soothes. Fear attacks, love amends. From here you could see that there's basically the emphasis on feeling and how God speaks to us in feelings. Unfortunately, how we've been conditioned by society, everything around us, is to become more and more logical, more and more mind-centric. There is a special emphasis on people who are exceptionally logical, exceptionally rational. When you become so reliant on the mind, what happens is you're never able to hear the murmurs of the heart. And I remember this in my personal life. When I'm most connected to my intuition, these profound ideas and epiphanies start to come first thing in the morning or right before bed, at just odd times during the day. It's when the mind is quiet, I can really listen to the heart. And the highest source of knowledge, everything, all the greatest videos that I've had, and all the ideas and epiphanies that I had that I was like, I can't wait to share this, that's when it came to me. When I had goals, goals, to get to certain revenue levels and solve certain problems that I was going through, all of a sudden the epiphanies, the solutions to those just came naturally to me when I was surrendered, when the mind was quiet. But what happens is, from time to time, the mind just gets very, very loud. We get steeped in fear, in doubt, and anxiety. So the journey is to understand why this happens, how to mitigate it, so we can bring ourselves back into balance and listen to the most divine source within us, our hearts. What you have to understand is, it's actually the feeling that's producing thoughts. One feeling produces a multitude of thoughts to justify the presence of that feeling. I want you to think about something you're fearful of or anxious about. You're going to try to justify why you feel anxious. Oh, I feel anxious because I have a big tax bill. Oh, I feel anxious because I'm having some trouble with a client of mine in this business, or my boss, or my employer, or something is happening in my child's life. You're trying to justify that feeling of anxiety. But have you noticed that when you feel anxious, there's more things to feel anxious about? Have you noticed that? It's like now everything makes you anxious. Even things that you could just brush away, all of a sudden they make you anxious now. That's because energy is becoming stagnant within us. So in our body, we have these channels where energy flows, called the energy meridians. But these meridians, if you imagine two channels, it's very, very subtle. It's not like you could open the body up and see these channels, but it's more so running along the spine. And these energy meridians become blocked because we hold on to things. We become attached to experiences, to feelings, to thoughts, and we hold on to them. We've almost in a certain way become addicted to feeling anxious or addicted to feeling like a victim because somehow we started to believe that it has allowed us to survive. I wrote this quote a long time ago. We struggle because we're addicted to the struggle. We don't give ourselves permission to be successful because we've told ourselves this story of, oh no, I'm the victim. Oh no, things never work out for me. Oh no, somehow I always get to the last step and get stuck. It's because we've told ourselves this story. It's a comfortable story. It's a familiar story. The human psyche is always afraid of the unknown. The mind is always afraid of the unknown. So we can never surrender the reins and just trust that everything is going to work out for us. It's difficult to do, especially when you've been like very secure and you've been trying to take the non-risky path and not take a big risk. But when you do that, you're actually sacrificing some of the greatest things that you could experience in your life if you don't take the risk. So energy becomes stagnant within these meridians. And in ancient yogic knowledge, Patanjali talked about this a very long time ago. We have 114 different chakras. Out of those, there are 7 foundational ones, 7 main ones, and they're located along the spine, from the root chakra to the crown chakra. What typically happens is, where energy gets stuck, you'll notice is it's somewhere around the solar plexus area. When you feel anxious and doubtful about something, your energy is becoming stuck in that throat to stomach area. You know, you feel like a strong, stuck kind of sensation. Anytime you think about that thing, you feel that energy. It's trying to rise, but it gets stuck. The energy can't move. And stagnant energy is the number one problem because energy has to flow. It's like a river. If a river or a lake doesn't flow, the water gets dirty and stagnant. Just like that, energy has to flow. Your meridians have to be free to experience life as it actually is, rather than what you would like it to be. To experience the greatest gifts life has to offer, your energy has to flow. You have to trust. You have to sort of be in tune with the flow of life rather than insisting on how you think life should be, how the ego wants life to be, because the ego doesn't know better than God. One example of this I can give you is one of my clients was going through something similar when he started with us, Emil, and I'll pull it up right here. He says, life threw me a test by having a client ask me to refund him the $1,000 he paid for my program because he needed to help his mother out financially. For about 2 days, my mind has been going crazy with shitty, intrusive thoughts of doubt, fear, scarcity, and everything you can think of. This has just led me to centering my attention 24/7, staying focused on the right actions, and surrendering control. What happens? 3 days later, I crush a sales call and get my €1,847 program paid in full. Felt so fucking good. Confirmed becoming 10K a month. He's on track to now making his first $10,000 month. This all happened because he didn't get fazed by that event, that negative event, or whatever event happened of the client wanting the refund. And who knows? Turns out, could have been that client would have been a tricky client to deal with anyways. But he didn't let that keep him stagnant. He let it happen, the event happened, and he let the energy flow by surrendering control, by centering his attention. The lesson here is, anytime you feel like something in your life has been stuck at a certain point, you've been experiencing the same situation again and again, you have to ask yourself, where within me internally is energy stagnant? And if you spend some time in quiet reflection, do this gratitude meditation that I'm going to share with you, you're going to know why. Also going to know how to unstagnate yourself, unstuck yourself by simply having energy move within you. Within the chakric system, if you will, where energy tends to get stuck the most is the anahata, the heart chakra. Okay, so the yogis call this the anahata, the solar plexus, or the heart chakra. And typically that's where you'll feel the strongest feelings of anxiety or fear or doubt, or in your shoulders. You're gonna feel your shoulders tense up, your neck tense up when you're stressed. That's where energy gets stuck. Our mission is to have energy flowing at all times, have it be light and flow, because something is trying to find surrender. Your karma is trying to work itself out, but you're blocking it. Have you ever noticed how in Western culture there is such serious emphasis on etiquette? Oh, you should be one way and not another way. It's because in Western culture, you're told that this is the right thing to do. You shouldn't express your emotions in public. To express your emotions is to admit weakness. You shouldn't express your emotions at all. And so people keep suppressing their emotions, their feelings, until one day it pents up within them and causes some form of cancer or some other psychosomatic illness that they don't really know how to deal with, and they don't know how it got there. It's because of years of pent-up energy. And you'll see as people age more and more, their faces get droopy. It's like they're carrying a huge burden on their shoulders. As opposed to looking at people in sort of like the Eastern cultures, they're always looking younger, youthful, happy, healthy, and they just express their emotions. Like whenever they feel like crying, they just let the tears flow. Nothing's holding them back. They're like a child. And, even though they're in their 50s and 60s, they have this childlike air about them. And that's my greatest wish for you, is to never lose your childlike personality, that thing within you that is childlike, that's always craving adventure. Because if you can keep that up, you know for sure your energy body is perfectly clean and energy is flowing through you. There is no blockages. The key here is anytime you're going through something, a feeling, whatever it is, just like my client Emil, do not run away from your feelings. What do we do when we feel uncomfortable feelings? We immediately try to run away from them by engaging in a compulsive behavior that gives us a dopamine spike, whether this be binge eating or scrolling through social media or watching television, the P word, and other lustful desires. That's our natural impulse to escaping hardship. For me, it used to be eating copious amounts of dessert. Whenever I would go through something tough in the business, in the startup phases of it, I would just eat tons of dessert, like 1,000, 1,500 calories worth of ice cream, cookies. And I didn't even notice I was doing it. I didn't think it was harmful, but I would just feel like crap the next day. I wouldn't have solved my problems. But what I started to do instead was sit with those feelings. What's coming up? Sit quietly with those feelings. There's two parts to this that I really want you to take away from this video, because if you do, I can promise you, even if you get stuck, you're gonna be able to overcome it very, very quickly, because it's gonna happen. You're gonna get stuck. That's just the way life is. We have come to this earth to work out our karma. What's known as our importance levels, something we get attached to, which is what blocks our energy. There is different levels of importance that we have. When importance level is sufficiently low, something we value, our business or something happening, let's say in your business, a client asking for a refund is not a big deal. But you getting sued, something that you've never experienced, or one of your marketing accounts getting completely shut down and your revenue just stops, that leaves you in a panic. Your importance level in the former scenario of one client asking for a refund is not too bad, but in the latter scenario of your marketing accounts getting completely shut down is very, very bad, or getting sued is very, very bad. It leads you to panicking. So we can clearly see from here that there are two different types of importance levels that we have, but there is a critical importance level, I critical. Now, if your importance level is less than I critical, you can somewhat brush things off and just move on and stop dwelling on it. Oh, okay, this client asked for a refund. Oh, okay, my video that I put out didn't get as many views. That's okay, it's not a big deal. I can just brush it off and just focus on what I want. I don't need to dwell on it. You can do that. But when your importance level is greater than I critical, then you need to sit with the feeling. You need to stop what you're doing, and you can't normally live on with your life. Or you have the passing of a loved one and it just leads you into an absolute frenzy. That's the time where it's okay for you to take a pause and say, hey, I really got to deal with this. And then you just take some time off, deal with it. When you don't run away from it, you run through it, you're going to become a lot emptier. You're going to let the thing that wanted to work itself out. It's just like fear. The best way to overcome fear isn't to do some voodoo at home on your couch. No. It's to actually do the thing you're afraid of. Go ahead and do it again and again and again and again until you just almost feel numb to it. It's like, oh, I've done this a million times. I'm not afraid of it anymore. It doesn't affect me as much anymore. I know internally how to deal with it. Speak to myself, or how to control my internal world, my attention, direct my attention properly so that I can get the job done. Now the question arises, what's the difference between something that makes you uncomfortable versus something that truly isn't right for you? The inner resistance that you have. Let's say you have to go out on social media and post, and you feel nervous about that. You lack confidence. But you know it's the right thing to do. You know that posting on social media is the right thing to do. But you confuse this feeling of discomfort with, hey, if I'm feeling so uncomfortable doing this, maybe it's not the right thing to do. That's wrong. There's a fundamental difference between something being uncomfortable because you've never experienced it, it's outside of your comfort zone, and something just not being right for you. To give you an example to exemplify that, let's say in the former scenario, you try to start up a business and you know like, hey, I do want to share my message. The final goal of me sharing my message, having an audience, is something that I really resonate with. Great, that's something that I really want, but the path to getting there is uncomfortable. The path to getting to that goal that I have is somewhat uncomfortable, and that's okay. I know that this is the right thing to do. Me going on social media, getting out of my shell, and doing the uncomfortable thing is the right thing to do. When you know it's the right thing to do, but it just feels uncomfortable, you know that that's just you expanding your comfort zone. That's just discomfort. On the other hand, let's say you want to make money, and the idea came to you to rob a bank. Robbing a bank is uncomfortable if you're a good person and you've never done anything illegal before. Let's say you have discomfort, you know deep down that, wait a second, this is just not the right thing to do. You have inner resistance. It's the right thing to do, but you feel uncomfortable, go ahead and do it. Those are the things that will make you grow. It's not the right thing to do and you feel uncomfortable, well, just duh, it's just a no-brainer. But if it's not the right thing to do and it's comfortable, no, don't do it. You always got to do the thing that you know deep down in your heart is the right thing to do. Even though it's uncomfortable or comfortable, you know this is the right thing to do. Always consult your heart and do the right thing. But a lot of the times, you don't even know what the right thing to do is because you're not listening to your heart. And that's where this gratitude meditation comes in. So what I would like to do right now, I know you're probably excited for it, and this is a 30-day protocol, so it's not going to be easy. I want you to commit to it, and I want to keep you accountable. So what we're going to do is, first I'm going to list you the steps, but I want you to go to the comment section right now and start a thread, because I would like to know, after every single day of you doing this, at the end of the day, what happened in your life? What were your 3 biggest wins? What were things that were outside of your control, things that you would like to improve on today? Go ahead, go to the comment section right now and write down gratitude meditation protocol accountability. And then you're going to comment on your thread, day 1, day 2, day 3, until day 30, and I would like to see what happens after day 30 as you keep doing this every single day. The goal of this is to get into a habit of feeling the highest form of love, the highest feeling there is, fear versus love. Get into the state of love where things just get accomplished by its own accord without your insistence. And things that you want will happen beyond your wildest dreams if you just trust it. And so what we're gonna do, the first step will be to sit quietly somewhere, put your hands on your anahata, your heart, and step 2, you're going to take 7 deep breaths. You're going to inhale into the chakra, feel it expand and become more and more powerful. And as you exhale, you're going to feel your heart is expanding out into the universe and you're transferring this energy into the world. And then what you're going to do after the 7 deep breaths is, still with your hand on your heart, you're going to feel grateful for a few things in your life. This could be family, this could be friends who did nice things for you, the home you're in, your children, your childhood, anything that you can feel grateful for. You can focus on things that you have, or you can also focus on things that you do not have. I suggest you focus on things you do have and the things you do want. And then the last step will be to think of a goal that you're working towards and feel grateful for its achievement. And imagine your life becoming a continual vacation as it has already been achieved. With that, let's get to the meditation right now. So now I want you to sit somewhere quiet, without distractions. It's going to be roughly around 5 to 10 minutes long. Let's get started. Close your eyes, place your hands on your heart, and let's begin. And this is right at the spot, right beneath your chest, your solar plexus. You could even put your hand on your heart where you feel your heart is. That's completely fine. Take a deep breath. And as you inhale, feel your chest, your heart expand. And as you exhale, relax. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, relax even more. Take another deep breath. Feel yourself relaxing more and more. Exhale. Feel your heart expanding. As you inhale, expand. As you exhale, send it out there. Take another deep breath. Inhale into your heart. Exhale love into the world. One last deep breath. Inhale into your heart. Exhale love into the world. Now I want you to think about something you feel very grateful for. Think about the house you're in. Feel grateful for it. Think about the skies, the birds, the trees outside. Feel grateful. Give thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Feel grateful for the food, the water you drink. Feel grateful for being alive. Give thanks. Feel grateful for the love your mother had for you, your father. Feel grateful for all your family, all your friends who are there for you. Feel grateful for all the people who blessed you in your life so that you could be here today. Thank you. Thank you. Feel the love from your heart expand out to them. Feel your heart grow more and more and get lighter and lighter. Thank you. Thank you. Now I want you to think about a goal that you really want. Something that will make your life a continual vacation, something you're working towards. Imagine it gets achieved effortlessly. Now imagine what life looks like once it has already been achieved. Feel how joyful your life is, how peaceful, how calm. Everything that you've ever wanted has been achieved. You're there with your loved ones. Not a single worry, not a single problem. Only love, only joy. The universe is taking care of everything for you. All of your problems have been solved. All of your prayers have been answered. And it just happened with ease. Life is full of joy, full of ease, full of love. Thank you. Thank you. Stay here for a few more moments. Bask in the glory of your wildest dreams coming to life. The world is a wonderful place. There is enough for everyone. Thank you. Thank you. And on the count of 3, I want you to slowly open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Slowly open your eyes. You're here. What I want you to do right now is really make a mental commitment to do this for the next 30 days. And you're going to tap into parts of you that you've never tapped into before. Things that you've wanted to happen, problems you've been stuck with, all of a sudden get solved by themselves. It's as simple as that. So go ahead, make that accountability post, and let's begin day 1 today. And I'm excited to see what the next 30 days will hold for you. Thanks.